Donald J. Trump became the 47th president of the United States in a historic political comeback. He is the only president in U.S. history to lose his first re-election bid and later win a third term. He secured victory in all 7 key swing states, including North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. His journey to this unprecedented achievement reflects the confluence of unique political dynamics and voter sentiments. Over the past 4 years, the Biden administration has faced criticism for rising inflation, which many attribute to excessive government spending on initiatives like the American Rescue Plan. Energy policies that led to increased gas prices have strained household budgets. Concerns about border security and immigration have also contributed to dissatisfaction. In contrast, Donald Trump's bold initiatives aim to reset America, focusing on revitalizing the economy and restoring national security. What will be the main agendas of Trump's first 100 days after taking office as president? Let's break it down.
If I'm president, I will have that war settled in 1 day, 24 hours.
Donald Trump has expressed strong ambitions to resolve long-standing conflicts such as the Ukraine-Russia war and the Israel-Palestine situation from his very first day in office. He has claimed that he could end the Ukraine war in 24 hours by negotiating a ceasefire and proposing a deal in which Ukraine gives up some territory in exchange for peace. However, Russia's UN ambassador said the Ukrainian crisis cannot be resolved in 1 day. During Trump's press conference, Leavitt said he would negotiate a peace deal on day 1, including bringing Ukraine and Russia to the table. In the case of the Israel-Palestine conflict, Trump has weighed in on the ongoing Israel-Palestine conflict, calling for a resolution that ensures lasting peace and stability in the region. He emphasized that the United States should prioritize its own interests while fostering fairness in its foreign policy. Trump stated that his administration would take a balanced approach, advocating for a peace process that respects the rights of both Israelis and Palestinians. As part of his broader agenda, he announced plans to reassess U.S. aid to Israel, signaling a significant policy shift. Trump argued that reducing financial support to Israel would encourage self-reliance while pushing for a renewed focus on diplomatic solutions. His stance reflects a departure from traditional U.S. policy, aiming to redefine America's role in Middle Eastern affairs.
On day 1, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history to get the criminals out.
Donald Trump's immigration policy aims to implement mass deportations, targeting approximately 20 million undocumented migrants currently residing in the United States. This initiative will focus on individuals who have committed crimes, entered the country illegally, or overstayed their visas, including those involved in drug trafficking and other criminal activities. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, recently reported a marked decrease in illegal migrant encounters, yet significant issues persist at the border, with nearly 11 million undocumented immigrants estimated to be living in the U.S. Many of these individuals are associated with drug smuggling operations, particularly fentanyl, which poses a severe public health crisis. Trump has appointed Tom Homan, a former ICE chief, as border czar to oversee the deportation process and ensure that these individuals are returned to their countries of origin. Moreover, Trump plans to reignite the debate on ending birthright citizenship, proposing an executive order that would stipulate at least one parent must be a citizen or legal resident for a child born in the U.S. to receive citizenship. This comprehensive immigration strategy reflects a hardline stance on border security and aims to reshape the framework of U.S. immigration policy significantly.
No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security.
Donald Trump's proposed tax reduction policy promises to shake up the financial landscape for millions of Americans by eliminating taxes on overtime pay, tips, and Social Security benefits. This bold initiative is designed to increase disposable income, providing immediate relief to hardworking individuals in the service industry and ensuring that retirees can keep more of their benefits intact. By exempting tips from taxation, service workers would see a significant boost in their take-home pay, enhancing their financial stability. Moreover, removing taxes on Social Security benefits would alleviate the financial strain on seniors living on fixed incomes, allowing them to enjoy their savings without fear of penalties. Trump plans to fund these tax cuts through tariffs and economic strategies aimed at maintaining federal revenue, although critics question the long-term feasibility of such measures. Additionally, Trump has expressed intentions to cut corporate taxes further, particularly for companies producing within the U.S., reducing the rate from 21% to 15%. This proposal aligns with his broader economic strategy to stimulate domestic manufacturing and job creation.
The higher the tariff, the more likely it is that the company will come into the United States and build a factory in the United States so it doesn't have to pay the tariff.
Donald Trump's tariff plan for his upcoming presidency includes substantial new import duties designed to reshape trade dynamics with key partners like Mexico, Canada, and China. He has proposed implementing a universal tariff of 10%, a 25% tariff on all goods imported from Mexico and Canada, and an additional 10% levy on imports from China. By making foreign products more expensive, Trump's tariffs are expected to encourage American consumers to prefer domestically manufactured goods. Higher import costs may push consumers to seek out local alternatives, aiming to revitalize U.S. manufacturing and stimulate job creation within the country. The policy aims to protect American industries from foreign competition and to create a more favorable economic environment for domestic producers. Trump's tariffs could incentivize foreign companies to invest in the U.S. market. As import costs increase, companies that previously relied on offshore production might find it financially advantageous to establish manufacturing facilities within the United States to avoid tariffs altogether. This shift could lead to a surge in foreign direct investment as companies seek to mitigate the impact of elevated duties by relocating operations closer to the American market. By presenting the U.S. as a more attractive site for production amid rising global tariffs, Trump's administration could catalyze a significant increase in domestic job opportunities and bolster U.S. economic growth.
That the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth.
Donald Trump's stance on diversity, equity, and inclusion, LGBTQ rights, and civil rights is reshaping the national conversation. He has promised to dismantle federal DEI programs, calling them divisive and detrimental to merit-based systems. His administration plans to eliminate funding for schools and businesses promoting DEI initiatives, which were put in place to address systemic racism and sexism. In a controversial move, Trump has indicated plans to redefine gender at the federal level, advocating for a two-gender policy that would officially recognize only male and female, excluding non-binary and transgender identities from federal recognition. This stance could severely restrict the rights of transgender individuals, affecting everything from access to appropriate health care to participation in sports. This proposal challenges the growing acceptance of gender fluidity and reflects a broader cultural divide in the U.S. A 2021 Gallup poll found that 5.6% of Americans identified as LGBTQ+, an increase from 4.5% in 2017, signaling a shift toward more inclusive policies. Trump's policies, if enacted, would impact millions. Critics argue these changes could undermine hard-fought civil rights gains, while supporters see them as a return to traditional American values.
Foreign policy will always put the interests of the American people and American security above all else.
Donald Trump's approach to national defense and America's role on the global stage reflects his America First philosophy. He has emphasized the need for a strong and capable military to protect U.S. interests and maintain global stability. Trump's administration saw the development of modernized defense capabilities and a focus on countering threats from nations like China, Russia, and Iran. He advocates for increased military spending, especially on advanced technologies like space defense systems and artificial intelligence to maintain the U.S.'s competitive edge. Trump also believes in reducing America's foreign entanglements, focusing more on fostering relationships that benefit U.S. interests directly. He has expressed skepticism about long-term military commitments in places like Afghanistan and Syria, aiming for strategic withdrawals that would allow the U.S. to reallocate resources elsewhere. Under his leadership, defense policy emphasized deterrence and strength, seeking peace through strength rather than prolonged interventions. His plan includes furthering U.S. interests in the Indo-Pacific region, strengthening NATO alliances while holding members accountable for defense spending, and maintaining a strong deterrent posture against potential adversaries.
less expensive, and better health care for you, then we'll do it. We're not looking better for the government, we're looking better for you.
Donald Trump's stance on the Affordable Care Act, ACA, and healthcare reform emphasizes dismantling the framework established during the Obama administration. He has consistently labeled the ACA as a failure, claiming it leads to higher premiums and limited access for Americans. During his presidency, Trump eliminated the individual mandate, which increased from approximately 2.3 million uninsured Americans. As he campaigns for re-election, Trump promotes a market-driven healthcare model focused on choice, competition, and reduced costs. His proposals include enhancing health savings accounts, HSAs, and allowing Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices. However, he continues to advocate for limiting ACA coverage mandates and returning to less regulated insurance models. Critics argue that repealing the ACA without a solid replacement could leave millions without essential health services. Polling shows that a significant number of Americans, including many Republicans, prefer maintaining or improving the ACA rather than eliminating it. This disconnect highlights the challenge Trump faces in aligning his healthcare agenda with the electorate's demand for affordable and accessible healthcare solutions.
All of this with the global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax. I mean, it's a money-making industry, okay? It's a hoax.
Donald Trump believes climate change is a hoax. His climate change strategy emphasizes fossil fuel production while rolling back federal environmental regulations. He has labeled climate initiatives as ineffective and has vowed to withdraw from the Paris Agreement again, declaring such measures a burden on the U.S. economy. His administration plans to end subsidies for renewable energy sources outlined in the Inflation Reduction Act that seeks to expand oil, natural gas, and coal production. This approach could significantly impact sustainable energy sectors, which employed roughly 3.3 million Americans as of 2022, compared to about 300,000 in fossil fuel industries. If Trump implements his climate policies, U.S. greenhouse gas emissions might rise, exacerbating climate issues highlighted by record temperatures and severe weather. In 2022, U.S. emissions increased by about 1%, while renewable sources like wind and solar made up approximately 30% of electricity generation, juxtaposed against a continued reliance on fossil fuels at about 60%. So where does this leave us? Trump's bold moves have undoubtedly set the stage for something monumental, but the question remains, is it truly a fresh start for America, or just a risky gamble with consequences we can't fully predict yet? Every decision made in those first 100 days has reshaped the landscape, but the road ahead is still uncertain. Will these moves lead to lasting change, or will we look back and wonder if they were the wrong steps at the wrong time? It's a complicated picture, one that might take years to fully understand. The next chapter will tell the story, but for now, we're left with more questions than answers.